as they run on down to the post, and Rhymes has got their
Fire still, Monteiro holding strong and pulling away. Monteiro leading and got it.
Big Maiden in third, and looking forward to Zyme to score. Less than a furlong to go, and Zyme just hanging on. That time in front still, but Pensive Scarlet is closing. We start as they come towards the last bit of the hill there. Right up towards the line, Blackburn and Pensive Scarlet, that's closely. So, welcome to the next episode then of the Starters Orders 6 online league review show, and this is a review of week 2 of the National Hunt Racing, and an action-packed week. It all started off with Doug on Monday.
good morning, afternoon or evening to Martin. I'd like to say thank you, Gray, and especially a big shout out there to the race runners and handicappers, and of course the trainers. Quick apologies for the delay of getting the first day up of the hunt, and the flat. We had some issues with emails that just disappeared into the ether. So Gray thankfully picked up some hunt calls, and I was able to resend my flat calls, so they should be up and ready very shortly. Okay, let's jump straight into it. And race 1 was Chuckalilly Stables Maiden. It was a chase, 2 mile, 1 furlong. And moment of truth for John Morgan. Won the race very easily. Probably the only horse we need to talk about in that race. But just really stamped its authority on the race, and will go on and win other better races than just a novice maiden. Okay, race 2, we got the mighty Boolaroo Stables. That was a graded race, chase, 2 mile, group 3 or grade 3 chase, and Tony Sams for Derek Hinton. Congratulations, it was a great win for Derek. Tony Sams should win another if placed well. Mountain Pasture died on its run and was unlucky, and they were probably the 2 horses from race 2 that were the standout. On to race 3, and that was the Smokescreen Listed Mares. It was a hurdle, 2 mile, 4 furlong on the heavy track, and Parkland Girl for Jay Murray. And looks like Jay Murray's got a good horse here on Parkland Girl. We also had an eye-catching finish from Flashback Friday for Paul Rhodes. Paul Rhodes always got a strong stable, whether he's on the flat or in the hunt. But it was a nice winner for Jay Murray today with Parkland Girl. We move on now to race 4. That was the Rising Sun Farms Maiden. 2 mile, 4 furlong, novice maiden chase. And Grinnell for James Harrison. And that was a big win. A very big win. And Gottlieb for Jay Shear. Fell at the third last, and that was motoring home. And it's just a pity it didn't keep its feet. Not going to say that was going to beat Grinnell, but if it kept that run up, it was going to go very close and make it an interesting finish. So Jay Shear a little unlucky there. Obviously, Gottlieb is a good horse for his stable, but congratulations goes to Jay Harrison's Grinnell. Race 5 it is. The Wensleydale Juvenile Hurdle. 2 mile juvenile, open for 4-year-old. And Night Watch and Crazy Horse for Thunderspark and John's Jumpers were the 2 standouts, and then the following group of horses can all pick up a win if they're placed right, but Night Watch and Crazy Horse, 2 horses that were too good for the rest of the field, and no doubt they'll hopefully kick on from their juvenile status. Up to race 6. Bet 365 handicap chase from Witherby. 2 mile, 4 furlong handicap chase. That was a 0 to 140 rating race as well. And it was a nice win for Honeypot Girl. Jim Murray, congratulations. So that made it 2 for the day. And you've got to be happy with a double. Fear Uno ran on. It was a good run. For the race, I thought probably See the Moon would be the standout runner for Molet's Surfer. That was the favourite in my eyes, and also the favourite on Starters Orders. It lost the rider, so it was an unlucky run in the end, but in saying that, as a fancied horse throughout the run, I kept an eye on it. For this race, it just didn't look like it was ever going to be in a challenging position, so maybe overlook the form, today's race, and carry on to its next start, where I'm sure it'll have a forward showing, but all the accolades go to Honeypot Girl today. We move on to the 7th. The Weatherby's Mares Hurdle was a smaller field, still a healthy field, but smaller. And Super Boris. Colin Clark. Would have been pumping the air, Colin. That was a big win by leading most of the way. And looked like it was coming back to the field a couple of times, but just kept on finding plenty, and I'm sure you'll pick up another race. Hopefully you'll be able to get into maybe a Group 3 or Group 2 and pick up a win there with Super Boris. Able Kate was handy, and Able Kate was for Paul Rhodes. A stable of consistency there, and looks like Jim Murray's got a nice little stable put together for the hunt this season, and we'll keep an eye out for his runners over the upcoming weeks. We go to race 8, the West Yorkshire Hurdle, and it was a 3 mile, 1 furlong grade 2, and Rogers Princess, 2 strong from the Ghost Sapper stable. Very comfortable win. It was up against some good horses with good form, but it was just too good. We'll go on to grade 1 company. We'll win at grade 1. Race 9. The Charlie Hall Chase. And Paul Rhodes pulls out the tongue twister for me. Bazaglio, I think that's how it's pronounced. It won well, came from the tail of the field. That's always exciting to watch. And yeah, it'll be a horse that will be looking for a grade 1 win in the near future. St. Fear was honest. St. Fear, as I just go down my list, was James Harrison. Bramhill Rose, that ran on well late as well. That caught my eye just near the finish. That was for John Morgan as stable. So that horse will be looking to sniff around the group races and will pick one up pretty soon, I'm sure of it. We go on to the last. It's race 10, and well, what can I say? It was the Ground Zero Maiden. It was a hurdle, 2 mile 4 furlong. It was open for 4-year-old plus on a good to soft track, and we're all talking about You'll Never Walk Alone. Absolutely bolted in, just like Bazaglio, settled early near the tail, or it may have even been last early in the race, and did get some nice rails runs mid-race. Slightly held up about 2/3 of the way through the race behind a leading group, but was able to peel around them and just went past them. And from memory, before the second last jump, the race was over. So no other horse really to talk about from the race. You Never Walk Alone was just far superior than the rest of the field, and from a maiden, I'm sure John will take You'll Never Walk Alone straight into the graded races. Okay, hope you had a winner, hope you had a placing, and more importantly, I hope you had a lot of fun with the races today, and we'll chat again soon.
So cheers for that then, Doug, and there was some great insights again there, as usual. And next we are going to take a look at what was happening on Tuesday, and on Tuesday we had Tim doing some of the jump racing, and he's picked out 3 horses for you to take note of from Tuesday.
I had the privilege to call a few races on Tuesday racing over the jumps, and here's my top 3 horses who really caught my eye throughout the racing for the day. Race 12 at the Paddy Power Run graded. Quiet Man. Now this one didn't win the race, but he ran on from the clouds, and he ran into 4th, and he's really one to watch over this distance because he really started to pick up late. He was looking for running room, and each jump at the last few hurdles he really jumped them smartly. So I really think he's one to watch for the future, especially over this distance. He'll definitely be a big runner. In race 18, the Travelodge Stay Maiden, and wow, didn't we see something classy about this? Present Abby. She looks such a nice sort. She just quickened away so easily, and looks like she can stay for days, you know. So also the stable of John's Jump is absolutely in cracking form. So just all the runners must be accounted for, but I think Present Abby will definitely go up to much better class than this, because this was a bit easy for her today. Then in race 20, the Bank Wensleydale listed. Dubai Prince, one of the huge outsiders, ran a blinder. He was at 100 to 1. The last hurdle he struggled to get over. I feel that this trip was a bit too long for him, but he really looks to ran on nicely at the last 2 furlongs. He was making good headway, and the last jump unfortunately just brought him a few lengths back, but he immediately kicked again. So I think if this one was over a bit shorter distance, I think he would have found the top three, but obviously he was no match for the winner, Lords of the Ash, who did win well and does look like a nice sort. But I think Dubai Prince, he could be recommended for over a bit of a shorter distance, I would say. So yeah, those are my three horses. So Quiet Man, Present Abbey, and Dubai Prince. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Another 3 good horses there for you to keep your eye on next week and over the course of the season. A great debut over the jumps for Tim this week. And we'll get a lot of jump racing in Tim's part of the world, so big well done to him for the commentaries on those races last week. And next up then, it's Wednesday. We have an in-depth look at Wednesday with some bloke you may have heard already. First port of call on Wednesday then was Ascot for the Thunderspark Maiden, which was a 2-mile 1 furlong novices hurdle. And in this one, Monty ran really well for a long way. It was right up in front, and then just sort of got run out of it towards the end, the last few furlongs. Obviously it's jumping, so you can't go a great deal lower than 2-mile 1 furlong, so it's difficult to know what to do with that one. But it's definitely got some sort of ability. Whether it needs to be stepped up in trip because it was outpaced or not, I don't know. I'm sure the trainer D. Hinton would know better than me, but Pinnacle Boy took it up a good 3 furlongs out, probably more like 4 or 5 furlongs out to be honest, and really powered home well. That looks like it's a good horse that'll win again. It was already rated at 125, so I think it'll probably go up. Redwin Lancier ran a good race in second as well. Never really looked like getting to the winner, but ran on well. Same price for Alderbrook, just couldn't go with the pace of the winner when Pinnacle Boy went for home. That was it, really raced over. Promising Ashan was another one that was up there for a bit, that was outpaced, probably needs to go up in trip, whereas Laguna Verde was running on better at the end. Zellini Doll, another one in there that didn't have a lot left in the tank at the end. All in all, a good start to the day's racing, and Pinnacle Boy a worthy winner of that one, and I'm pretty sure it'll win again. So the Donny House Maiden came up next, and that was another 2-miler, this time redundant power. What a good win. He really powered home, didn't he, again, and stayed on really well at the end. It's also worth pointing out the 2 that led for most of the way there, 2 Grand Credit and Mighty River Run. They both ran really well, but ran out of steam. I think they went too fast. Slower tactics on them next time. One that came from out of the pack as well, Demanding. A jockey left that one with far too much to do. If he'd have got a bit closer, I'm sure he probably would have won as well. Both Redundant Pal and Demanding were rated 100 going into that race, with Chelsea Express rated 120, who came third. So I think Redundant Pal and Demanding will be shooting up the handicap, and their handicap days may well be over. Priscilla Queen of the Desert was another one that ran on for a while, but then just faded away at the end. But it was another good race, and good winner there, I think, with Redundant Power, and that second horse Demanding is definitely going to win next time with a better ride. So it was a quick trip to Exeter next then for the Stratford Beginners Novices Chase. Exeter used to be called Devon Exeter many years ago, of course, and this again was a race where 2 horses powered away, only this time they stayed there. Salis made an early break for home, maybe a little bit too much of an early break for home, just set it up for Hollygrove Native, who stayed on really, really well, and those 2, again, both rated at 100 as Maiden Novices, but they will be, I'm sure, a lot higher in a handicap this week, and will be battling out some good 3-mile plus prizes later in the season. Nova Iguachu was also up there all the time and ran a good race to stay on to third, recovered well from a mistake early on. Dodoma was another one that was behind for a while and settled down in the middle of the race, and then got it looked like she was going to make a challenge, but that just petered out again. So again, there may be issues there about what's the right trip for that one. The favourite Burt was a big disappointment, and he finished way back in 10th. We got another mighty impressive performance in the next race, which was the Only Fools and Horses Chase, a maiden chase, and Wood Moon. Goodness me, did Wood Moon run a good race or what? And that jockey was pretty, you could say pretty clever at the end, because he eased the horse right down on the line and only won by half a length. Whether the handicap is going to be 4 by that or not, I don't know, but I don't think I'd be wanting my jockey to do that, just in case. You just never know who's coming behind you, do you? Super Danaskin was another one that was up there for most of the way and ran well in second. The main pacemakers early on, Danny Flying, disputed the lead for most of the way and led up until the final 5 furlongs, and she just couldn't go any further. So again, with that one, you're going to think maybe you're going to try different tactics, because it's not going to last out at full pelt at 2 miles, and it's not going to be able to drop down in distance. Jordan did exactly exactly the same thing as in the first race. Went straight out up front and just went too hard basically, and ended up coming last. But that was a good race, and Woodman was already rated 127, is now going to be pretty high up the ratings, I think, and got to be in anybody's thoughts for the Arkle. It was almost deja vu all over again for the Haldon Gold Cup, which followed once again 2 horses going out hard and setting the race up for closers. Leominster ran well in the lead for quite some time, made a couple of mistakes, but still ran reasonably well. So did Only Dazed, and the mistakes caught up with Only Dazed in the end. That one eventually fell at the second last. But of the ones that finished, he got towards the final couple of furlongs, and suddenly Borrelas and Geschweister came to challenge those front 2, and Borrelas looked like she was going to do really well at one point, carrying a lot more weight as well than the winner, Geschweister, with Borrelas on 11.11 and Geschweister only on 10.10. They're going to be on more like level weights next time, I would think, with the way Geschweister ran on. Well, it was driven out, but he still won it extremely comfortably, and you'd have to look at that and wonder where they're going to go with them next. That was a grade 2 handicap, don't forget, so I think they'll probably both end up going up the handicap, which is a bit of a shame for Borrelas, who was already virtually top weight. She ran a really good race, but Geschweister took advantage of that low mark. I think probably go up, I don't know, maybe 130, maybe, I don't know. It depends how you're going to work the format. But Geschweister's handicap days are done and dusted, I think, and it'll be interesting to see where that one goes next. Maybe have a tilt at the Queen Mother or something. There might be a race before that. So it was a quick trip across the Irish Sea on a ferry for the next race then, which was in Galway, the Ballybrit Novices Chase. And again, this was a case of a horse going off and setting the race up for closers. American Art ran really well in front, just didn't quite last home. Maybe if that one's kept a bit closer in the pack, it'll do well next time. It's certainly not one to write off. Royton, the favourite, was really disappointing. He didn't seem to want to get involved at all, and when push came to shove, he didn't quicken at all. The winner, though, C. Darren, made a mistake, I think, at one point in the race, and just got up. Really good, strong driving to get up and win by 3/4 of a length in the end. Petite Etoile ran really well as well in second, and looked like she was going to win at one point. But all 3, the first 3 will all win again, I think, as long as they don't get clobbered by the handicapper too much. Synchronicity ran well as well, but was left far too much to do by the jockey, and that will do better next time. Tipperary Hurdle. Tipperary, surprisingly enough, a grade 2 hurdle over 2 miles was probably the best finish that I saw on the jumps and the races that I covered. Pretty much everything in that race ran well. I don't think there's anything in there that you would turn around and go, you know what, that's never got a chance of winning anything. I think they all were. Minigaff ran in snatches, finished last, but even that one isn't out of it, I don't think, later on in the season. But Minding came through really well to win after looking like she had no chance at one point. But there were 3 in a line at one point coming to the final flight, and all battled on well. Black Tide, who'd made most of the running, dropped away first, but Barat and Natty have Minding ding-dong to the line, and Minding just getting up by a short head. There were level weights today, but Minding is rated £20 higher than Barat and Natty have already, so was entitled to beat that one. And obviously I don't think there's going to be much chance of those two meeting in a handicap, and if they meet again on level weights, you could see it going either way, couldn't you, really? Black Tide, who came back in third, is rated 130, and Dominion of Saints, who finished fourth, was rated 134, so they were all virtually going off level weights there. You've got to look at that and think, well, the handicapper's going to have to do a little bit of shuffling around with those. Dominion of Saints was disappointing because I thought it ran really well last week, and at one point today it looked like it wasn't interested and then ran on in the end, so I don't quite know what the situation with that one is. Stick a pair of blinkers on it maybe, I don't know, but it'll do well and win again one day. Chelsea was another one that did okay, got a bit outpaced towards the end. That might need a step up in trip, and Aussie Dougie faded away after running quite well, but it was a good race, that one, and I don't think there are many nags in there. It was back to England and Kempton for the Cato Star Chase after that, and that was a great win for Miss Beat. Miss Beat ran really well, with a great jump at the last and was pushed out to win. Won really well. Odysseus, who came second, also did well. He didn't start off too well in the race, but got himself up with the lead and then stayed on as well, so that was a good run. And the Estate was another eye-catching run, one of the highest rated horses in that race. Miss Beat was quite low, so again, handicapper's got some work to do after that one. Phoebo Frank, also rated quite highly, didn't run that brilliantly, just stayed on pretty one-paced. Jamina Another one that could do better next time. But all in all, I'm not so sure we've got a Cato star in that race anywhere, but Miss Beat one ran really well and won. And I think Odysseus and the Estate will be winning as well soon. So the 3 mile Lisa Maria Jones Maiden Hurdle was next up at Kempton, and this is where Purple Patch made a kick for home inside the final sort of 5 or 6 furlongs and soon got into the lead and really powered away and won quite comfortably, really. Probably a lot more comfortably than the 1 3/4 length would make you think. Treble Trouble was another one who stayed on well over the trip, as did Fennis Queen in 3rd and Ruby Tuesday in 4th. So all of those front 4 I think will have a good chance of recording more victories over 3 miles. Plus, Phoebo Red was out on his feet at the end. Chocker Elusive led for quite a long way and was staying on a little bit warm paced towards the end, but was eased down when beaten as well. So that one could be interesting over an extreme trip. I'm not quite sure what the longest hurdle race we have in the Starters Orders League is, but whatever what it is, big one for Chocker Elusive. Down from the other runners, there was nothing else that really looked particularly good. The even money favourite, Only You Maggie, was not that impressive, to be honest. She was slowly away, up there at the front for a while, but dropped away pretty tamely and never looked like challenging for a win. Well, the big question, of course, about the Paddy Power Hotel chase is, did Galactic Civilization throw the race away by making that mistake at the last? Because he came through, looked like he'd come through to win his race quite nicely, then just clonked that last fence and couldn't recover. Winter Storm was always up in the front part of the field, stayed on really well. Maybe he would have got up and won anyway, despite that Galactic Civilization mistake. But you never know. Elusive Drain, the horse that came second, ran really well as well, and I think John's Jumpers will be pretty pleased with Beresford Girl, the favourite. Although she didn't win, she still ran on nicely and ran a decent sort of race. And Salty Seagull as well was another one, did better than he did last week. So it was the Simple Minds Novices Chase next then, over 2 miles and 7 furlongs, and that was another really good race, some great performances, and a couple of my favourite named horses in there as well. 2 Bob Bristol. I don't know why I find that just so amusing, but it really just makes me laugh. And Lily the Pink, of course, as well. Great song from the scaffold in the 60s. Paul McCartney's brother. Not a lot of people know that, so people tell me. Anyway, Devon Blue, back to the race. Devon Blue, what a good performance that was. Come through to take the lead and won it. Going away, just pushed out, nice and easy win. That will win again. This rating's surely going to go up as well. And Lily the Pink, that chased on in second, that's going to win a race as well. Stayed on as well, so maybe they just need to go a little bit over 3 miles. Then maybe their chase is in the making. I don't know. They both jumped okay. Big Orange ran one in third, and that was running on as well. So we've got some good stayers over hurdles. It was nice to see Mr. Forrest run well as well. It was I believe that was the horse that pulled up sort of surprisingly last week. That one ran on quite nicely as well. I'm sure that'll win before too long. The Novice Hurdle Qualifier race was next up, and again this was a dramatic finish. Cordillera Willows led for a long way, and I thought ran pretty well. Maybe try those same tactics over the straight 2 miles next time rather than 2 mile 2, or similarly push it up a little bit if it was the pace that did it. I don't know. The trainer C. Clark will know better than me about that one, but it's nice to see us. Gray going along in front, and I'm hoping that one will win later on in the season. Leatherface must have, trainer that one must have thought that he's got a win, because it looked like he'd gone for home, but Eskimo Dave, what a rally at the end, just got up. Looks like it'll get further, 2.5 miles easily, so it looks like it's got a turn of foot as well, so it could probably even drop back down to 2 miles if it needed to. So that was a good win for Eskimo Dave. Leatherface ran really well as well. It was nice to see Victorion running on towards the end as well. That's another one that I quite liked the other week. Well, the final race was an interesting one as well, wasn't it? The Novice Chase Qualifier, smallest field of the week, only 7 runners, but it was a dramatic start when we suddenly only had 6 runners, because last Ben just plonked himself down and didn't want to know. He wouldn't move a muscle. If I remember rightly, I think he fell last week as well, so he's probably on a record of the horse with the worst form at the moment. So you watch it come out next week and we'll absolutely walk it somewhere and win easy. Poor old General Kutuzov led virtually all the way, but he was just there. They were all ready to pick him off all the time, weren't they? It was a shame for him. He wasn't given a hard time after he was overtaken. What you do with that one next, I don't know. Maybe it needs to step up in trip. Maybe it needs to be held back a bit, I don't know, but it's not certainly not a bad horse, and I should think it'll win a race. Rapid Dash was a strange one, because that got behind and then it got in front and it was running on well at the end, and it looked like it might win, but Sparky Gale did virtually the same thing and was out the back, and then he wasn't, and then a huge jump at the last really gave him the win. The Ghost was another one that sort of looked like it might do something, but then didn't quicken up. Maybe that one needs to go up to 2.5 miles. Fall on a Hill was always in mid-division, never looked like winning, and never looked out of his depth either, so I don't quite know where we go with that one either. Always a bit funny, these small fields, because you don't quite know what's going on, a lot of cat and mouse going on, and the smaller field races that we had last week, some of the form for them hasn't stood up particularly well this week. Looking back to horses like Chess, I think was one of the main ones, and there was another one as well, I think in the same race, that I know they both fell, so I think they might have been... Anyway, that was it. That was Wednesday. Well, there you go then. That's week 2 in the books. Great day's racing on Wednesday for me there, and Tim enjoyed himself on the jumps on Tuesday, and Doug, as ever, on Monday with that little bit of drama at the beginning of the week with the disappearing commentaries and Graham slipping in till goodness knows what time in the morning, and the budgie was asleep, so we missed the budgie this week. We'll get the budgie back for next week. So we'll leave you then with Bazaglio staking his claim to be favourite for the Cheltenham Gold Cup with a storming victory in the Charlie Hall Chase, and a storming performance by Doug getting his tongue around the horse's name. We'll see you next week.
Then we've got Bramhill, Rose, Slim Chance and Phoebo Cup as they go over the last and a half to go. It's Bazaglio, St. Fear. Bazaglio kicks clear now as they come on down to the line, and Bazaglio will win from St. Fear. Bramhill Rose ran third and ran a good race.